Hi everyone, welcome back to this tutorial on how to customize the appearance of the Blazor TreeMap component. In this video, I will show you how to customize the layout, data label, and levels of the TreeMap component. First, I open an existing Blazor application, where I have placed a Blazor TreeMap bound to the employee's JSON data source. If you want to know how to get started with the Blazor TreeMap component, refer to the video attached in the card above. I will run this application to show the initial output. The TreeMap component is rendered with the defined data source. Here, the TreeMap layout is split into rectangles based on the height and width of the parent. Apart from the default squarified layout, TreeMaps can also be rendered in other layouts like Slice and Dice Vertical, Slice and Dice Horizontal, and Slice and Dice Auto. The Slice and Dice Vertical type creates and displays rectangles vertically sorted, whereas the Slice and Dice Horizontal type displays rectangles horizontally. The Auto type displays both horizontally and vertically. Now, I will show you how to render a tree map using the Slice and Dice Vertical type. I define the Layout type property and set the Slice and Dice Vertical value. Look here, the TreeMap component is rendered in a vertical layout. By default, it renders in the top left bottom right direction. Apart from this, it can also be rendered in top right bottom left, top left, and bottom left top right directions. Now, I will show how to render the TreeMap in top right bottom left direction. For demonstration purposes, I will remove the Layout type property and set it to default. Then I define the Render Direction property and set top right bottom left to it. Check now, the TreeMap is rendered in the defined direction. Now, let's see how to customize the leaf items. By default, the labels on the TreeMap are rendered based on the field Map to Weight Value Path property. In this example, the employee count is mapped to the weight value path. To display other information as labels, use the Label Path property. To demonstrate, I define the TreeMap Leaf Item Settings property and set the Label Path property to Country. The labels are rendered with the names of countries. Here, the background color is set based on the theme. To customize the background color, I define the fill property and set an appropriate value. Check now, leaf items are filled with the specified background color. Next, let's see how to customize the label color, font size, font family, and so on. I define the TreeMap Leaf Label Style tag first. Within it, I customize the font color and font size. So, I set the white color to the color property and set the size property to 14 pixels. To customize the border of the leaf item, I define the TreeMap Leaf Border tag and within it, customize the border color and width. So, I set the white color to the color property and 1 pixel to the width property. Looking here, the labels are customized as specified. Here, only the country names are rendered as labels. Suppose I want to display the designation and employee count along with the country name, I can use the Label Format property. Now, to display the designation and employee count along with the country, I define the Label Format property and set the appropriate value. You can see the designation and employee count are rendered along with the country name. Here, the label exceeds the actual size. Now, I would like to display the exceeded text in the next line. So, I define the intersect action property and set wrap byword as its value. You can see the exceeded words are displayed in the next line. By default, the label renders in the top left position. Apart from this position, it also supports top center and top right positions. To demonstrate, I will define the label position property and set its value to top center. You can see the labels are displayed at the top center position. Here, leaf items are rendered without any gaps between them. To display the leaf items separately, simply use the gap property. To demonstrate, I define the gap property and set it to 7 pixels. To display the gap clearly, I change the border color of the TreeMap item to blue. Now, the leaf items are rendered with the specified gap. By default, only single leaf items are rendered. To render them on multiple levels as a group, I define the TreeMap levels tag, which accepts n number of TreeMap level definitions. Here, I am going to render 3 levels, so define the TreeMap level tag and map the country field to the group path property. Similarly, I define 2 more levels and map job description and employee count to the group path property. I also set a border to the groups by defining the TreeMap level border tag and setting the color to white and the width to 0.5 pixels. I repeat the same for other levels too. I also apply a background color using the fill property. Look at the TreeMap now, it is rendered in groups. To maintain a gap between the groups, I define the group gap property and set its value to 7. The groups are rendered with the specified gap. Now, let's see how to customize the header of the group. To do that, I define the TreeMap header style tag. I set the font color to white by defining the color property. Then I set the font size to 14 pixels by defining the size property. I repeat the same for other levels too. I also set the header height to 40 pixels for all the item headers. Look here, the header texts are customized as defined. Like labels, I can also customize the format of the header text. I define the header format property and set the appropriate format. I repeat the same for all headers. Check now, the group headers are formatted as specified. By default, the header text is aligned near the border. Apart from this near position, it also supports the center and far. So, I define the header alignment property and set its value to far. Check now, the header text is aligned far. In this video, you have seen how to customize the layout, data labels, and levels in the Blazor TreeMap component. If you would like to see a working example, you can download it from the GitHub link in the description below. I have also provided a link where you can see if you qualify for a free license key to use our Blazor products through our community license. If you found this video useful, do like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.